Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this event, which is looking at Huddersfield New College's curriculum. So, presenting this evening is myself. My name's Marcus. I'm Deputy Principal here, and joining me is Wayne, who's Head of Faculty. So the plan for this session is that Wayne and I are going to talk through the college curriculum, some of the key things that you need to be aware of as potential students and parents and carers. That will take about 15 minutes, we think, and then we're going to throw the floor open and we'll take any questions that you've got and we'll try our best to answer them. So we hope you find this session productive and informative. What I would say is that everything we talk about this evening, you'll find further details in the college's prospectus. So if you miss something or you want further information, that's a really good place to start looking. So, at Huddersfield New College, one of our really strong selling points is that we offer a wide variety of courses at different levels. So we offer academic qualifications and vocational qualifications at level 2 and level 3. So our level 2 courses are GCSE, and that's GCSE English and Maths primarily, and also BTEC. And at level 3, we offer A-level, BTEC and Cash. So what we've got is a really broad, flexible curriculum offer that you can adapt to your wants and needs. And our team of staff here will work with applicants to ensure that they're on the right courses for what they want in terms of their progression. So some students come to Huddersfield New College as level 2 students, and what level 2 is about is preparing those young people to progress to level 3. So our level 2 students will do a core curriculum, which is a BTEC qualification, and they will do one of the options listed there, so art and design, applied science, business, health and social care, ICT or sport. And then alongside that, they will take English or maths if they need to, because every student, once they leave school at 16, who doesn't yet have a grade 4 in English or maths, has to continue to study those courses. And our level 2 students have got a really successful track record of progressing from their level 2 studies onto level 3. And as a college, we are primarily a level 3 college, so 95% of our students are level 3 students. Our level 3 curriculum is aimed to ensure that when students leave us, they are ready for their aspirational next step. So most of our students progress to university, but some students will go straight into the career of their choice, and some will choose to go on to an apprenticeship. And at level 3, we offer A-level, BTEC and Cash qualifications. It's also worth noting that even for our level 3 students, if they haven't yet got a grade 3 or 4, grade 4 in English or maths, that they would continue to study GCSE, English or maths. So hopefully that gives you a sense of the levels that we offer and the different variety of options that we have. I'll just hand over to Wayne now, and he's going to talk to you about the study programme that you'll put together as a student at Huddersfield New College.
Okay, hello everybody, good evening. So talking around study programmes, the power of 3. So when you come in to make your choices for the future, it's important to remember that at New College we offer obviously the traditional A levels, but we also offer a range of BTECs, the equivalent to 1, 2 or 3 A levels. So the key takeaway message here is that you could be sitting a mixed programme, as we call it, and what I mean by that is you could be choosing an A level, let's say in PE, alongside a BTEC qualification, which is the equivalent to either 1 or 2 A levels. So there is a lot of options and a lot of scope to mix up maybe vocational with non-vocational courses to make up your study programme. So the key thing to remember, as long as you're hitting the equivalent of 3 A levels, so for example that could be 2 traditional A levels and a single BTEC, or it could be a 2 BTEC, a double BTEC and 1 single A level. So as you can see just on the slide here, there's the titles of the level 3 qualifications from the A level The extended certificate is the title to bear in mind if you're looking at a 1 A-level equivalent. The BTEC diploma is the equivalent of 2 A-levels. As you can see there, the extended diploma is the equivalent to 3 A-levels. So this is a nice visual here, so you give an idea of the options that you have. So for example, as you can see on the top left there, the A-level plus A-level plus A-level, you'd be on 3 traditional A-level courses, let's say biology, physics and maths, and that would then be your overall study program. Obviously 3 A-levels is the equivalent to 3 A-levels, and as you can see, as you move along, it gives you an idea of how you can put your study program together. So for example, in the next one, middle top, you have a traditional A-level, but you could also then study a single BTEC extended certificate, and then in another subject study another BTEC extended certificate, which again, as you can see, gives you the magic 3 in total in terms of equivalent to A-level. Again, the next one, you've got 2 A-levels with a single extended certificate BTEC on top to make up the 3. And then if you look along the bottom there, you could do a double, so in other words, a 2 A-level equivalent, for example, in sports science, and you could then make your full 3 with a traditional A-level in another subject. And as you can see there, all the way through to an extended diploma, which is ultimately doing a BTEC course, which is equivalent to 3 A-levels. So for example, in my area particularly, that might be, BTEC sports science would be, extended diploma would be the equivalent to studying 3 A-levels.
So hopefully that gives you a sense of the levels that we offer here at Huddersfield New College and the range of options that you've got to build your study programme. So that brings us on to thinking about the choices that you make. So choosing which college you go to is a big choice, but also choosing the courses that you do in that college is a really important decision for you. So I've just listed here 4 key questions that I think you should really bear in mind when you choose your courses. I think the most important one is to think about what you want to do when you finish college. So you need to ensure that the courses that you select are going to support your career or progression aspiration. So for example, some universities will stipulate that you need to have studied certain courses at level 3 to get onto the degree. So it's well worth you spending some time thinking about the type of university course that you might be interested in, and then doing some research to make sure that your level 3 study programme will enable you to progress onto that course that you're interested in. And the same is true to say for jobs as well. Some jobs will specify the specific qualifications that you require, and that also applies to apprenticeships as well. So here at Huddersfield New College, we always talk to our students about their vision, about their progression plans, and what we're trying to do is ensure that the course they're studying and the way that they're studying and the things that they're doing are setting them up to be successful in terms of progressing to their aspirational next destination. Now, having said all that, it's also true to say that some students come to us and they're not entirely sure what they want to do next. So if you find yourself in that situation, don't panic. It's quite common, it's quite natural that when you're 15 years old, you're not entirely certain what you want your future life plan to be. If you fall into that category, then what you need to ensure is that you pick a study programme that gives you a decent amount of flexibility, so that as you progress through your time at Huddersfield New College and as you begin to firm up your progression options, you haven't ruled out anything that you've then later on decide that you want to do. The third question is, does the subject interest, inspire and excite you? And that question applies whether or not you studied the subject before. So we offer qualifications here that you won't have studied at school. So for example, we offer a subject like A-level politics. So you won't have done politics at GCSE level, but whenever you think about these courses, they've got to interest and inspire and excite you, because you're going to be devoting 2 years of your life to studying these courses. And then if you go to university, you'll be devoting another 3 years of your life to studying things related to the course that you've studied here. So it's really important that you've got that fundamental interest in what you're doing. And then finally, obviously you need to make sure that your predicted GCSE grades support the entry that you're looking for onto your chosen courses. So I'm going to talk a little later on about entry requirements, but it's really important that you match your GCSE predicted grade profile with the entry requirements for the courses that you're interested in. If there's a significant mismatch between those two things, it could well be that you can't actually do the courses that you want to do because your GCSEs don't support that progression. Now, making these choices is obviously a big decision that you need to make, but we are going to be here every single step of the way to help you. So joining Huddersfield New College is a process. It's not an event. So it's a process whereby we give you advice and guidance along the way. And Wayne's going to talk you through that process later on in this presentation. So the fact that you're here this evening thinking about these types of questions is a really good sign that you're engaged and you're active and you're being proactive in thinking about your future. So I've given you 4 questions that I think would be really relevant ones for you to bear in mind when choosing your courses. Here are 5 things that I think you should really avoid doing in terms of course choice. Don't pick your courses just because your friends are doing them. That's not a good basis upon which to devote 2 years of your life. Don't pick something just because you've not studied it before. Sometimes students will pick courses that they've never studied before, and really the only rationale that they can give is, you know, I didn't do very well at these other things I've studied, so I just want to try this because it's different. It's more important you've got that genuine interest than it's just something because it's new. Don't do it because someone else has told you you must do it. Sometimes parents can be a bit guilty of this. They sort of compel their children to do certain combinations of courses, whereas that young person doesn't really have an interest or passion for those courses. So you're beginning this process now of becoming young adults and developing your individuality and your personality and thinking about projecting yourself into the world. So it has to be your choice that you're making. Don't pick a course solely on the basis that it's essential for your preferred career path, even though you're not interested in it at all. So if you find yourself in the situation of thinking that the courses that you're studying don't interest you in any way whatsoever, but you've got to do them because universities stipulate that, then you need to rethink your long-term vision because it might not really align with where your interests lie. And what we find in college is that students who are motivated to do well, whereas students who are not motivated to do well don't do well. And that motivation comes from that interest and that passion. And don't do courses just because they sound impressive. Sometimes you get students doing things like A-level maths because they think it sounds really intellectual and challenging, and it is really intellectual and challenging, but there should be more to your decision than just choosing it because it sounds impressive to your friends or parents or whomever it might be. So if you bear in mind those 4 key questions that I outlined initially, you won't go too far wrong in terms of making your subject choices. Okay, I mentioned entry criteria. So we've got entry criteria for our different study programs that we offer. So if you want to do a study program that involves 1 or more A-levels, then you need to meet the entry criteria for A-level. And the A-level entry criteria are listed on the screen there. So you need 2 GCSEs at grade 5 and 3 GCSEs at grade 4. And within that mix of 5 GCSEs, you need to have GCSE English Language or Literature at grade 4 at least, and the English language grade can't be lower than a 4. And you need to also to have GCSE Maths at grade 4. And your other grade 4s need to be in GCSE subjects, which are academic subjects related to your chosen level 3 programme. Some students come to Huddersfield New College and they do 4 A-levels or a 4th level 3 qualification. If you want to do that, then you need to have the 5 GCSEs at grade 7 to 9, and then you need at least a grade 6 in both your GCSE English Language and GCSE Maths, and your GCSE average point score should be above 6.4. And in addition to those general entry criteria that I've just talked you through, note that individual A-level subjects will also have subject-specific entry criteria. So, for example, if you go on our website, you'll find our general entry criteria and you'll also find the subject-specific entry criteria. So bear those in mind when you're thinking about your course choices. If you're interested in doing level 3 BTEC in cash, then again, you need 5 GCSEs as a minimum at grade 4 or above, and those 5 GCSEs should include GCSE English Language. And your GCSE Maths needs to be at grade 3 or above. If it's better than a grade 3, that would count as one of your 5 GCSEs. We will look at vocational GCSE equivalent qualification, qualifications, but we'll only look at that in terms of them being one of your 5 GCSEs. And just as was the case with A-level, individual subjects will have or may have additional entry criteria that you need to meet. And finally, if a student is considering coming to us to consolidate their level 2 qualifications, then as a minimum, they would require a grade 3 in GCSE English Language and a grade 2 in GCSE Maths, and they would need 1 GCSE or vocational equivalent at grade 4, and 1 GCSE at grade 3 and 1 at grade 2. And there may also be some additional specific subject entry criteria. So I think the key takeaway message is that the study programme that you're interested in will bring with it different entry criteria. And what you need to do as part of your research for coming to Huddersfield New College is make sure that your predictions that your teachers at school are giving you match up pretty closely with the entry criteria that we ask for the study programme that you're interested in. And Wayne's going to talk a bit more about that journey now.
Yeah, so the journey then. So as you can see in front of you here, you have the 5 steps to HNC, almost a timeline of events of what happens next. So leading on to what Marcus said, that research step, if you like, the first one, is absolutely crucial. It's important you speak to your teachers, your parents, your careers advisors at school, on the open evenings, for example, this evening, ask questions, because the more research you put into your career, what suits your skill set, what you're interested in, then the more chance you have then of finding yourself onto the right course, projection onto your career and the rest of your life. So some ideas on there, obviously, if you can get to the open event, the next one is next Saturday, then, please do get around the campus, get a feel for the place, meet the staff, see the academic areas. And also a really important point here, and I always say this to my students on day one, I welcome them to the college, and then I sort of encourage them to look at what they may go on to do after their 2 or 3 years at the college. For example, what does that career look like? How do you get there? Would it mean doing an apprenticeship? Would it mean going on to doing a degree, a postgraduate, even at university? So there's no reason why you can't start that process now. The university websites, if you go to entry requirements, are pretty black and white, nice and clear to give you an idea of where things can lead to in the future. The next step, the application step. So as you can see there, you've got if you attend a partner school in Kirklees, and your sixth form, your college or your school will know that you apply via the centralised portal, and your school will obviously help you through that process. So you will get support your school end. If you attend a non-partner school or school outside Kirklees, then you will need to apply online, as you can see there, the website www.hudnewcoll.ac.uk. And just an important date for your diaries there, the 17th of February would be the deadline to apply. So it's really important that you do make that deadline, so plenty of time to make a decision. So moving along, getting ready, it's very important to be aware that there will be an admissions interview, and these take place between January and March. These will be face-to-face, and it gives you a chance to come in on site, speak to a member of staff. By that time you will have an idea of the course that you want to do, that obviously you've applied for, and it very much is a discussion to make sure that it is the right course for you, and to answer any questions that you might have. And if you have any portfolio work, we're always interested to sort of see what you've been up to, and where your passion and hobbies even lie, even outside of your schoolwork as well, to get an idea of your character and what you're about. So step 4 there. If you are successful on your interview, you'll receive a conditional offer. So obviously that would be conditional on meeting the entry criteria that Marcus spoke through earlier. And after that process, you'll receive a letter in the post, and you must accept your place by the 8th of April. So another date for your diary there. So it's really important that you do make that deadline to make sure you secure your place, obviously on the condition of your GCSE results. And then once you do, if you're accepted, you will receive a login to our college there, as you can see, HNC at home, and there'll be more when you get to step 4 around that, but that will give you a taste of what to expect in your subject areas that you've chosen. So finally then, step 5, Accepted students are invited to a welcome event in July. So, you know, in the summer, and we do invite you on campus. It's another chance to have a look around. You might have an idea of how your GCSE exams have gone at that point. Obviously, you won't have your results. You speak to staff. You might have different questions at that point in the process, having done more research and gone through the interview process. So, as it says there, this is almost your chance to ask any final questions before you break up from school, from teachers at the college, and get a real feel for the campus. As you can see, post GCSE results day, at this point you will know how successful you have been from your GCSEs. You will again turn up at college for an enrolment appointment, and there you go. Then we'll say hello to you as a new member of the college community.
And as you'll know from the other events that are going on this evening, Huddersfield New College isn't just about the teaching and learning that occurs in the classroom, although that is our core business. There are plenty of other things that you can get involved with as students here. In fact, I'd say that the only limit really is the limits of your imagination. So we've got competitive and recreational sport. We've got a huge range of enrichment activities, ranging from Duke of Edinburgh Award to the Student Council. And I hope some of you had the opportunity to listen to our head students earlier on this evening. We've got the Aspire Excel programme, work experience in industry placements, and the opportunity to take additional qualifications. So Huddersfield New College is a genuine college experience where you can immerse yourself in college life, be surrounded by like-minded young people, and you'll have the opportunity to be taught by some of the best teachers in the area who are really passionate about your learning and your achievement. So that's it in terms of what Wayne and I had planned to talk to you about this evening. We've got about 10 minutes now, so we'll be very happy to take any questions. So if you do have a question, if you wouldn't mind just typing it into the question and answer section on your computer or whatever device you're working from. And then as questions come in, Wayne and I will seek to answer them as best we can. So thank you very much for listening, and we'll hand over to you now. Okay, so we've got our first question that's just come in. So I'll ask Wayne this question, see what his thoughts are. So if I did a AAA level equivalent extended diploma BTEC, how many lessons will I have each week?
Okay, so again, going back to what I spoke about earlier, so your whole study program will equal 13.5 hours, and that would be 9 lessons a week. So whether that is, you know, the triple BTEC, if you like, or even doing 3 traditional A levels, which would be 4.5 hours times 3. So that would be your point of contact with a teacher in the classroom would be 13.5 hours. On top of that, you'll have your pastoral support as well with your tutor to factor in. And then on top of that, as Marcus mentioned, you know, our extracurricular activities, our enrichment go on to, for example, the sport. It occurs in the college day, and Monday, Tuesday training sessions will be part of your timetable if you was on a sports team, and Wednesday afternoons would be when you're not in a lesson because you'll be playing your sport, your cricket, your football, your netball, and then your lessons would fit around that. And then the remainder time would be your study periods. So the college has the facilities. We have a learning resource centre, many study areas around college and hubs, and PC access where you can catch up on coursework. You can find a quiet space to prepare, get your homework completed. And as I often say to students, if you come with the mindset that you've left school now, 13.5 hours across 5 days is not a lot of contact hours in the classroom. So there is responsibility, on the students to make sure that they use the time wisely during the college day to make sure they're up to date with homeworks, preparing for the next lesson. And like I say to all students, if you use your time wisely at college, you won't feel the pressure in the evenings and weekends, when some of you will have part-time jobs or will have your hobbies going on. So I can't stress how important it is to make the best use of your hours when you're on campus in the day. So thank you for that question.
Okay, so there's another interesting question here that's come in. It's about, so the question is, are there any restrictions on the combination of subjects that I can study? That's a really great question, actually. So there are a very small number of formal restrictions. So one example would be that if you want to study A-level physics, then you need to study A-level maths alongside it. So as a college, what we seek to do is to give you the flexibility to put together a study program that really works for you. So although there are a small number of formal restrictions, I think what would be good advice would be to think about your study program overall. So let's say, for example, you're a student and you want to do a full A-level study program. And let's imagine that you're interested in studying a humanities sort of subject at degree level. So you're thinking about doing history and sociology A-level, but you're not sure about what your third A-level might be. Then my recommendation would be that you would focus on another essay-based A-level, because then you'll develop those skills of essay writing and analysis and evaluation across your whole study program. So although it would be possible to do sociology, history and chemistry, I'm not sure that would be the best combination. So you might be better off doing sociology, history and politics, for example. But in theory, if you met the criteria, you could do sociology, history and biology. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that. But I think what you need to do is focus on your vision, what it is you think you want to do in the long term, and then try and build a study program around that. Okay, so we've had another question coming in. So the question is, some courses are available as 1 A-level or 3 A-levels. Can you apply for both options? So I think this question is about our BTEC qualifications. So BTEC comes in 3 different sizes. So it comes in the 1 A-level equivalent, the 2 A-level equivalents, and the 3 A-level equivalent. So in a sense, the answer to that question is yes. So you can apply for a BTEC study program in a number of different sorts of ways. You can combine a double BTEC with a single A-level, for example, or 2 A-levels with a single BTEC. But I think what you can't do is make 2 different applications to us. So what you wouldn't be able to do is to say, make one application where, for example, you want to do 2 A-levels and a single BTEC, and then another application where you're looking at doing 1 A-level and a double BTEC qualification. So when you come to make your final application to the college, you will need to have firmed up in your mind what you want your study program to be. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so a similar question has come in. So what if I want to study 3 single or 1 A-level equivalent BTEC certificates? I'll hand that one to Wayne to answer.
Okay, again, so if you wanted to do 3 single A-level equivalents, so the BTEC courses, it would be possible, but we would have a conversation with you because that isn't an overly popular pathway to have with the different work involved and the fact that doing 3 single BTECs, there might be an option there to complement your program with maybe having 1 A-level traditional alongside 2 singles, which is often the case. But that would all depend on what you would come in with, your reasons and your rationale as to why you believe the 3 BTECs would work for you particularly, and that's where your research comes in terms of what you want to do long term. So we're very much part of the process. We get a lot of can we do this, can we do that, would this work? So it is all about you. So we'd ask you the questions that, like Marcus mentioned earlier, what are you interested in, what do you want to do, have you looked into that, did you enjoy similar topics at GCSE, and between ourselves and what you bring to the table in terms of what you want to do, we would look to get you on the right course of study for you. So yeah, so possible, but would have a conversation regarding the 3 single BTECs.
Thanks, Wayne. So another question's come in asking if it's okay if I've applied for course in separate applications. So I think it's better not to do that. So I think what would happen is, in your interview with the college, that's the point at which you would need to make your final course choices. So at this stage, it's not a disaster by any stretch of the imagination, because when we interview students, that's when it's our opportunity to get to talk to you face to face, well, hopefully face to face, to get to talk to you face to face, to get a sense of what it is that you're planning, what it is that you're thinking, and then in conversation with you, we would put together a study program that works for you, that's in line with what your future plans are, but is also matched with your GCSE predictions. So I think in the case of the question there, if you've put in 2 applications, that's fine. But at interview, at that point, that's when you would need to firm up your decisions. So we haven't got any more questions. So I think I'll just say thank you again. We've really appreciated you taking the time to be with us this evening. I really hope that Wayne and I have answered at least some of the questions that you might have had. And I think my key takeaway would be to say that it's a big decision that you're about to make. You know, which college you go to, which course you do, they're big decisions. There's lots of support available. And we take our role in terms of giving students information, advice and guidance really seriously. And if you come and apply to HNC, we'll support you every single step of the way. Obviously, we would love for you to come to our college, but even if you choose to go somewhere else, we can still help you with making your decisions, making your choices, and making sure that the study program you put together is the best one for you personally. So thank you very much for your time, and we really hope that you enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.